Hello dear students, good evening to all of you. We welcome you to Prelims ki Panchayat. But before we start the discussion on the Prelims GS paper 1, I would like to introduce you to my colleagues and team members. On my left hand side are sitting all the esteemed members. First is Salamuddin Ansari sir. He is the director of our institute. And then we have our academic head Lakshmikant ji. And then we have Madam Sumanjit Kaur. And so my first question would be to our director sir regarding what is his first impression about GS paper 1.
First impression is that this year students will be quite relieved when they may have come out of their hall, examination hall. So they may have felt quite relieved, almost let's say that kind of feelings they had last year paper. You will find that it was so difficult and the options the way they were given. So this time they have taken the question back to some, let's say that few years, like the way the trend used to be. So first impression is students will be quite relieved and also quite confident that now this year they can get through.
And what is your take sir on this, Lakshmi sir?
Yes, hello everyone, and the same thing that sir has said, that students must be relieved. At the same time sir, that the dynamicness and the unpredictability of UPSC continues this year also.
Yes, but yes, we agree, but what we can say, the first thing that they will feel
Sure,
a sigh of relief.
Sure sir.
Because paper is quite lighter, you can say that.
Yes.
Not as complex, not as tough,
Yes,
not
sir.
as lengthy.
Sure.
Rather we can say that it is quite, let's say, lighter in the sense halka fulka type question you can say.
Right.
Although questions UPSC is UPSC, so it will certainly maintain its own standard.
Right.
But the first thing they will feel is that they will be relieved by this.
Right. Sir.
But sir, there has been some slight change in style of asking questions, or we can say the pattern of the questions.
Right, sir.
So what is that change you have noticed?
So the major change I have noticed is the number of questions having the options like only 1, only 2, only 3. That last year there were around 47, 48 such questions. Now this year it has reduced to only 16 questions, sir. So this is a relief kind of thing. Why? Because the elimination method was completely eliminated last year. Now it has come back this year. And many
Yes.
questions were attemptable through elimination method.
You mean to say that elimination technique is working for the students this
Sure,
time?
it
This
is going
year.
to work.
Okay.
There are some questions in which if they do not know questions properly, let's say all statements,
Right,
but let's say they are able to eliminate 1 and 2 statements, so answer is already ready because they don't have to know the question.
Right, sir.
Yes, so there are some questions even in politics section.
Right,
I
sir.
think
Yes,
she can also talk about geography and ecology section.
Yes, sir. As far as hello everyone. As far as the environment section is concerned, I would say that UPSC has maintained its standard. The way it has asked the difficult questions last year, it has continued this year itself. However, if we see the part which students fear the most, the species, biodiversity, this year also there have been questions on those patterns, and I would say there are 7 questions from this part alone. और ये स्टूडेंट्स के लिए काफ़ी ज़्यादा टफ भी हो जाता है.
Okay.
However, the other part like the pollution, so questions are generally asked from that. If you have fair, moderate knowledge about things,
So
you will be able to
The
attempt.
weightage of the question has been the same, or it has
Weightage has been
increased?
almost the same.
Okay.
This year we have 16 questions from the environment section.
So good amount of
Good amount of
are
questions. Yes.
Yes, our team has analyzed and Lakshmi will tell on that.
Yes.
So there are 3 major factors if you find. So there are 3 major sections which will be playing very key role in qualifying prelims this year.
Right,
Sir,
sir.
I would like to have your response on this point by point.
Yes, sir.
So
first of
Lakshmi
all-
will tell those 3 key areas.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So 3 key areas or 3 key subjects where UPSC has focused or asked more number of questions is polity, geography and environment section. Let me be specific about it. 18 questions from polity, 19 questions from geography and 16 questions from environment. If the student is strong in this area, he is going to through. going to clear this examination for sure. Because attemptable questions were there for from the polity as well as geography, I guess, sir.
Yes, in polity, in 18 questions, I guess a good candidate although can do 18 out of 18.
Okay, sir.
But
Right.
I guess a good candidate or most of the candidates, I expect that they could have done 14 plus
Right, sir.
out of 18 questions.
Okay, sir. Same is for geography. Concept-based questions were asked in a statement 1, statement 2, or assertion reason kind of question, plain from NCRT, sir. Standard resources. Now, the other sections like science and technology, economy, and history also, which is kind of, let's say, a new trend, I would say. Every year UPSC asked minimum 15 questions from history, but this year they asked 10 or 11 questions, I guess, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So-
So weightage has reduced, sir.
Let me ask to sir, although he is anchoring.
And this, sir, please.
So since you have a specialty in history, so what is your view on history section?
Sir, I would say that UPSC, as usual, is maintaining that element of uncertainty. This time what they have done, they have asked ancient India 5 questions. You can call it ancient Indian history and culture. So if especially books I see in general, history or otherwise, if a student is not keeping an eye on currently written books or the literature in history, he can have difficulty. Then medieval India, they have asked just 1 question.
Right.
From modern India, they have asked 3 to 4 questions.
Right.
Then there are 2 questions which we can say enlist as history and culture, but they are also current oriented because
Right.
they are related to heritage sites.
Right.
So UPSC, I would say, is doing that thing related to interlinkages and interdisciplinary approach.
Sure,
so you
sir.
cannot segregate always a question, classify it as purely history, purely current affairs, or purely polity. This is also there, sir. For example, sir, there is a question on Government of India Act 1935.
Right.
A student would have studied it with depth in polity rather than in history.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. Right.
Yes, political party also they have asked.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is
So-
purely sir
Which
NCRT
is-
question.
Right.
There is a book.
Socialist party.
Yes, yes,
and
they are there
yes.
in the NCRT.
Swatantr Party.
Yes,
Right.
Yes, sir.
This-
Right, sir. Right, sir.
So,
Sir, I would like your views on polity section as such.
see, polity section if you talk, so I guess questions are quite doable this year. And as we told that 14 questions they can attempt, any candidate can attempt. There are some questions which are very tricky. There are some questions which are very factual,
Right, sir.
which demand very, let's say, appropriateness in that factual knowledge.
Right.
And there are, let's say, 2-3 questions which are too easy you can consider.
Right.
Right to privacy type question
Right.
you will find. But at the same time, there are 4-5 questions which are really, let's say, quite in depth, and they demand that level of understanding.
Right. Right.
And so, if, as I told that students will be quite relieved this year.
Yes, sir.
But my negative impression is, positive impression is that students will be quite relieved.
Right.
But the challenge or the negative impression is that there is possibility of doing more incorrect.
Incorrect. Okay. Wrong answers.
In that enthusiasm of feeling that the question paper is easy,
Right.
you might take more risk. And
Risk plus it seems that there is a question related to lapsing of bill.
yes, sir.
This and the way we get the question paper of the students and we see what they have marked.
Yes, sir.
So that also gives an understanding that what they are doing.
Right.
So I find that if there is a question related to bill lapsing, you can say. There is a question related to women reservation, we can say. A governor related question, you can say. So even if there is a question related to writ,
Right, sir.
they say a
Prohibition.
writ of prohibition.
Right, sir.
Yes.
So these questions, let's say that they look very simple in the sense that they are not lengthy in framing, but then they demand very accurate knowledge.
Right.
So accuracy if a candidate does not have, so even if question is that writ you know,
Yes, sir.
but you have to know writ of prohibition is related to this.
Right, sir.
So it appears simpler, but then accuracy is not there, so you are doing, let's say, wrong. Means you will have wrong attempt.
We can say UPSC is taxing our mind as much as the system will do when we get into the system as administrators. And one more thing, sir, I was observing that whatever the level of difficulty or easiness of the paper, one thing is a set rule that you cannot run away from conceptual clarity.
Yes.
Plus, you cannot compromise your knowledge on current affairs.
Yes,
Yes.
current affairs you can say anything, let's say any section. This year, till last year, they used to focus on some legalistic type of questions, like and fundamental rights related, natural justice, natural law, human rights. These questions they used to ask. But this year they have not asked those questions. But at the same time, let's say they have now focused on defense sector.
Right, sir.
I am glad to say, I am glad to add this thing that in our current material, we have got almost all the answers. Whether it is
Yes.
IR, whether it is heritage related
Yes.
questions, they are there. We compiled special material for interview guidance program. There also we have included those facts.
In fact, there is a question very direct from DTRS.
DTRS.
Yes.
Lakshmi, I guess he may have taken that.
And I am sure our students might be happy who has taken the
When
Takkar.
we ask writ question we
Yes,
ask,
yes,
Yes, sir.
CSR question we ask,
Yes, sir.
CSR wala question,
Yes, yes, yes.
in
Yes,
Panchsutra.
yes,
So I am very, very
Writ
glad.
we ask mandamus, it is let's say that writ of
Writ.
prohibition.
Sir, so the students who have joined our Takkar series, those who have taken our Panchsutra program, I think they might be feeling much more happy and relieved than other candidates because they are in the competition now.
So now Lakshmi should highlight the defense sector, that
Yes.
how the defense sector, because every year UPSC this is how it does.
Right.
That if you focus, we try to focus all those areas, but somehow UPSC innovate, or let's say that it says us, it gives the message that no, you cannot match us.
Yes.
So there is this thing, sir. They want to beat the competition with the people who are in the business of mentoring or teaching the
Right,
students.
sir. Let me highlight this, sir, that defense sector has received more weightage in terms of like they are asking role of CDS, or they are asking military exercises or military operations or defense technology like 5th generation aircraft. So such kind of questions they are asking.
Means it is mix of, I guess, GK type plus GS you can
Yes,
say.
sir. It's a GS type or GK type, general awareness type, or we call it miscellaneous type of questions. UPSC has continued this, but earlier last 2 years they were asking from like prizes, but this year they did not ask such things.
Sir, can we say it is a broadening of horizon or it is just giving you some taste of uncertainty again?
Again, sir, uncertainty or whatever, let's say the current affairs study material we are let's say reading or students are reading, basically UPSC wants to continue the element of uncertainty. That means out of the box things they are asking generally, like authors, if they are asking the question of author of particular books. So generally student read that for banking exams or CDS exams, such kind of questions are generally asked.
One of the students was
Like-
asking why UPSC does this. So I have my own kind of thinking that it is also testing of some of your qualities which there should be inside you when you go and join as an administrator.
That is how let's say prelims preparation or UPSC preparation is not preparation of 1 year.
Right, sir.
It does not start, let's say, just last means 1 year. Rather, it takes time, and you have to focus on all those things.
Right.
Like past trends, we cannot ignore.
Right, sir.
Like this year, UPSC has tried to bring, we can say, going back to basics.
Sure, sir. 2016, 17, such kind of questions used to be asked.
Sir, if I remember correctly, 2016 or 15, they asked many questions from NCERT polity.
Right, sir.
Right? So they keep on doing this. And that is beautiful, something beautiful about UPSC. We must admire them for this.
Right, sir.
Then how you will see, let's say now students will be thinking if question they are relieved, but at the same time the cutoff, so do you think that the cutoff will go up?
Yes, sir. Surely.
Sir, my personal feeling is there might be slight increase in cutoff, but not, as you rightly said, sir, if candidates have shown this tendency of taking much more risk, cutoff can remain more or less at the same point with slight increase.
I beg to differ, sir. Why? Because last year the cutoff was very less, 75, and only because the student got negative mark because of those option framing. Now,
Yes, 47 questions
Yes.
were related to 1, 2,
yes,
3.
this time the purely knowledge-based questions, if they are talking, see the competition is very high.
Yes.
Students are reading almost everything. And if they are going to attempt such kind of knowledge-based questions or understanding, of course, basic understanding is there. So there will be increase in cutoff, sir.
Sir, but we
comparatively.
cannot ignore this factor of paper 2. It depends on the paper
What
two
do you
also.
think? What is
What
your
it is?
view on cutoff?
Well, I think it would definitely remain in the 90s. In my opinion, it's going to remain in the 90s to 100. If we consider all the factors, given that the framing has changed and the type of questions they have asked, definitely, like sir, you said that they'll be relieved. So that sense of relief will also
Now
be
they will
there
not
for
be
them.
relieved. When you say 90 and
But
I would like to say, sir, the candidates who are sincere but who were having some kind of skepticness, they were having on their mind skepticism. Now I think they are the most relieved lot, and they stand a chance to clear the prelims with confidence.
well, sir, I would like to add something. Like we always try to highlight this, that the Hindu plays a very crucial role in their preparation. And usually students have this tendency to skip reading the newspapers, and they find the shortcuts that just reading a magazine will suffice. UPSC has now, through the way it has asked the questions, it has emphasized the importance of the Hindu newspaper. There have been many questions
yes, like
from
say
that.
I will add one question in polity called ethics committee.
Right.
Although
sir.
we do also have we also try to ask questions based on that in our tests.
Yes, sir.
So like say ki based on those current we try to ask conventional questions.
Conventional questions.
The ethics
Definitely.
committee question, if you find that they have asked,
Yes, sir.
so it is given in the newspaper.
Yes,
Yes, it was
Everything
Business
we
Standard,
find
if you
it's-
see, the Business
Yes,
Standard
sir.
I have seen, or any other newspaper you can say that.
Yes, sir.
So they have written that what is ethics committee. In ethics committee detail also it has written that it is the only committee, right, in which let's say or before which citizens can also file their complaints.
Right.
Yes, sir.
This it has also
It
written.
has written there.
And that is the statement they have asked in the question.
Then, sir, we should be very happy as a
sir.
team that we are doing the right
And I
things.
hope that it could have been covered in our
Yes, sir.
GTRS,
Yes,
current
sir.
developments.
We had asked
because ethics
such
committee was quite in news because of one
Moitra,
yes,
Yes, sir.
Mahua Moitra
Moitra
case.
Yes, sir.
So that is how you'll find. And now as far as polity study is concerned or guidance is concerned, so when we guide students, I don't think that a candidate is going to study in such details about ethics committee.
Right, sir.
A candidate can study about public account committee
Right.
or any other committee.
Right, sir.
But ethics committee is a very, let's say that ignorant type of committee like.
Yes, sir.
And that details in Lakshmikant not given.
It's not given.
If you read Lakshmikant, it
Right.
gives just one paragraph.
Yes, sir.
Right.
And students largely read Lakshmikant.
Right.
If they have not read through current affairs,
Right, right.
so that ethics committee, even if question is simple, not that tough, but yes, the way they have framed the statements that only only MP can file complaint, that statement is incorrect.
Right.
Yes.
So that way I was saying that the question paper is tricky.
Yes, sir. It is tricky.
Last year it was tough, it was open. Ki paper is tough.
Everyone was
Yes, sir.
facing.
This.
Right.
But this time it is something hidden.
Yes, sir. But the quality is tested. You have to be a keen observer. You have to remain
Yes,
vigilant.
definitely.
And,
Because let's see, students will be happy on the one hand that ki, oh, chalo, we are relieved. Paper is this year paper is simple,
Right, sir.
but it is tricky.
It is tricky.
Right, sir.
thought-provoking.
Thought provoking indeed.
Sir, you
I
would like to add something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In terms of nature of questions, I would like
Please,
to
sir, please.
add few points. Like I was telling you, the match the following type of questions. 9 questions.
Basically, I will try to tell to the audience, students, ki we do prepare and analyze those number of questions on the basis of their instructions, which help in understanding not only this year, but let's say ki upcoming years also. Right. So this is how Lakshmi will tell.
Yes, sir. Match the following pairs type of question. 9 out of 100 questions were asked, and they have brought new element in the framing of questions, and that is earlier there used to be only 2 columns, sir, in match the following. But in some of the history and geography questions, they have come up with 3 columns. Now the uniqueness of these questions, yes, of course, it increases the difficulty level, but the trick in solving these MCQ is that when you know one thing out of these 2 columns, then you can start eliminating that, sir. Like let me give you the example of waterfalls. So they asked waterfalls, then the region, and then thereafter river. So if you know that a particular river or the waterfall is not in this region, then you need not to know about river. you eliminate that as an incorrect pair. This is the advantage along with this new framing. Now student has to impromptu adopt to such kind of situations in this new type of framing in these questions.
Sir, in history they have given one question.
Right.
They have played double trick over there.
Right.
What they did, in one column they have given the state correct, in another option they have given the findings of a archaeological site correct. So if a student have not studied or done the map work properly, he might be confused because he is under pressure in the exam. This is some trick played by the UPSC.
Right.
Sir, anything like that you saw in polity section?
No, see, the questions, as we told that, they are quite tricky. Some questions demand very in-depth understanding. Means ki even if question we can consider that ki they are not that difficult, but without in-depth knowledge about that topic or the statements, it will be difficult to make questions correct. Means they can have elimination method.
Right.
Even in case of women reservation bill wala question.
Yes.
So elimination is working.
Right.
But then the way statement is framed, statements 2, so that statement 2 is also, it appears not appropriate.
Right.
Yes. Even in statement 1 they say ki it will come into effect in 18th Lok Sabha commencement. It has also, let's say ki 2 meanings. Duration, within the duration of 18th Lok Sabha,
Right.
Right.
or let's ki in that 18th Lok Sabha.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is how we'll find, and there is no only one option.
Right. So elimination
There are
method
two statements correct in that given permutation combination.
Yes.
They are always given 2 statements correct.
Right.
This. So that way, let's say ki a student will be, let's say, in a dilemma because the law comes into effect. Law you make, so you can, let's say, president has given sanction, but law is not in effect.
Right. Sir.
Law will come in effect only when you notify.
Notify it.
This, and students know it.
Right.
Law comes into effect when it is notified. So that way, let's say it is tricky, and then it takes time.
Right.
The student has to take a call. Right.
So we can say that this maxim fails in UPSC. Ignorance is bliss. Right, sir?
That is how they have to take risk. That is called calculated risk.
Calculated risk.
This, so that is how we say ki you should have the perfection in decision making,
Right.
so that ki your risk is towards correct. Means it brings towards probability of correct question rather than probability of incorrect question.
Right.
This. And then I think a team may have prepared also about economy section.
Yes,
we have
sir,
not
yes, sir.
talked on this.
Yes, sir. Economy and science and technology. Let me tell you a few things about that.
Yes,
In terms of science and technology, sir, last year or last to last year, UPSC had this trend of asking digital technology or cyber related things, electronics related things in the science and technology. But now they have changed this trend completely, almost completely, and they are asking environment related technology like wastewater management, say kaun sa technology news.
And most of the questions are current oriented, if I'm not wrong.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Science and technology, yes, surely that is largely current oriented, last 1 year or 2 year. But the areas of asking question within science and technology, that keeps on changing. And that's why it becomes challenging to cover science and technology. It is very vast comparatively. Current affairs is also very vast. And that's why many times students face this challenge. And that's why we also tell students कि आप 1 साल का नहीं पिछले 2 साल का current affairs science and technology and environment के लिए करिए.
So the horizon is broadened quite.
Yes.
Broadened.
Yes. Sir.
So again, here is the Lukmaan team to help the students out as we are working on with different fronts by inculcating information or giving information through test series, through our GS Foundation, through our Panchsutra, DTRS, then our magazines on current affairs and ethics. So even now we are open to the students. If they have any queries, they can come. We will like to mentor them and help them to improve themselves. And
Yes. I would like to add one more thing. Like last year when we had analysis in our prelims ka Panchayat, so we told that ki Lakshmikant is now hardly going to help.
so
We
what
are
is your take
changing
now,
that.
sir?
This year lots of questions are directly from let's say that
Lakshmikant.
Lakshmikant means
Basics.
largely they read Lakshmikant.
Right.
So on let's key I will tell that key on the page of if you say this called amendment.
Amendment.
From amendment page 2 question they have asked.
So it is like saying, sir, you can love me, you can hate me, but you cannot ignore me. So some books are like that only.
Yes,
So
because
you
last
should-
year only 2 to 3 questions were from Lakshmikant, and then students were, this is how worried that then what to do. But this year they will be relieved, and this is how UPSC learns. UPSC, I guess 1 year it goes ahead, the next year it tries to, let's say, make that grip strong and consolidate itself. Then again next year it goes ahead.
So they are like moving 2 steps ahead, then coming 1 step back,
Yes.
and keeping the student in a state of dilemma always.
Yes.
One point, sir, let me highlight here that
Please, sir.
in such kind of question papers, what we have observed, our team has also analyzed this, that from each section there are certain attemptable questions. They are asked from your primary basic sources of NCERT, basic understanding based questions, be it environment, geography, polity or history. So you should not escape reading the basic sources. It is very important.
Because basic things give you basic understanding, as you'll find they are using that factuality, that adding, variation, this. So the term they are using, so do you, let's they have asked a question from Government of India Act 1935.
Right, sir.
And in that they are asking that Indian All India Federation, and then will include provinces and princely states. Now a candidate can be in doubt whether they were provinces, means whether princely states were also included.
Yes, sir.
This. And the person, I got the paper, the person who sent the paper, so that person made it incorrect.
Right, sir.
Most of the people have done this
Similarly,
mistake.
they have used very simple
Yes, sir.
defense and foreign affairs were kept for union legislature. This. Now again, let's say that you have not read it.
Right.
This. You have to guess it.
Right.
So that is how, let's say, the question. The one statement is very factual statement.
Right.
If you read the act, it is given.
Right.
But the second statement is something based on presumption.
Right.
It is not written in that act, the books that we read. It is not written there.
Yes, sir.
But you have to think that defense and foreign affairs would be certainly to the union legislature.
They were in the federalist, but because the federation could not come into existence, therefore they remain in the reserve list with the Governor General of India. This is how it happened.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that is how factuality we can talk. So this is what we can say, and I guess we should give our view also on
Economy, sir.
Yes.
So economy and current affairs sections. So students may be thinking about this. Like in economy, certain questions were basic, we would say applied question. Like
See,
every
you
year.
have, if you have good knowledge of theory, you
Right.
can apply
Right.
extempore and
Right.
get the answer right.
Right, but certain questions like US Treasury bills, like we could not also find the authentic source for such kind of questions, and most of the students may have skipped such kind of questions or use the logic also that any kind of, let's say, treasury bills that or the government securities, they are largely the assurance of the government, so the public cannot always claim them in a event of, let's say, sovereign default.
But that
तो
requires
अगर
a
ये
in-depth
logic
thinking.
हाँ
Yes, I guess this year in paper external sector they have asked some questions. External you can include IR also, you can
Yes, sir.
include
Yes, sir.
economy, you can include
Yes, sir.
institutions.
Yes, so they have asked like I guess International Toilet Organization, no?
Yes, sir. World
Yes.
Toilet
World
Organization.
Toilet Organization.
Yes,
so
that was.
like
It is basically traditional type question.
But
A
sir,
few years back they used to
most
ask.
of the students read the prominent international organizations,
Yes, so it was very
like
random
this was
for-
like so.
Indian
So they
sanitation
always give you a
program.
taste of past. You can say
Right,
that.
sir.
So you should not lose your connection with your roots. That is the also lesson.
So
Right, sir?
same thing, like if you don't have the knowledge about that topic, you should not attempt such kind of questions, and it will make it negative. So if students are smart enough, they should understand which questions are to be attempted, which questions are to be skipped. This is the test is of not absolute knowledge. Anyhow,
So in your view, how many questions seeing the paper students should have attempted?
so if you talk about the cutoff, that I feel that it will be 85 to 90, or it may be in 90s also.
90s.
Looking from that perspective, the attempt should be between 80 to 90, sir.
Because
The
let's
ideal
say when
attempt.
question is simpler, so
Right.
simpler side, so then they have to take risk, because
Right,
certainly
right, sir.
after, in any case 20-30 question after you don't know the correct options.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Here I would like to add, I think some of the NCERT based questions from geography could have been attempted.
Right.
If student has been disciplined and he was regular with his basics, जो आपने बोला कि roots के साथ stick रहिए, if student understood that, then he could have attempted some sections which I felt were quite easy and it would have helped a lot. Geography हो गया जैसे कि environment, like I said, it was very tough for them.
Madam, I have to ask
So,
one more
yes.
question over here.
Yes.
It might appear stupid also, but sometimes we have observed
Yes,
that as
sir.
candidate remains confused. The reason of confusion lies, I think, in paying attention to the higher texts but not doing the basic
Right.
work.
Yes, yes, sir.
The NCRTs they are not reading,
They're
and
not
then they
reading.
find it
Nowadays-
very stupid that the question is very simple, still they are not able to answer.
Right, right, sir. Right. Sir. Yes, ma'am.
Actually, nowadays students are finding so much shortcuts. The notes that are available, they tend to skip the basic books which they should read, which is the NCRTs.
Yes, ma'am.
And this UPSC has totally, it has given that taste to
No,
us
but
that you
basically,
cannot skip
yes,
that.
the way questions are
Yes.
asked, be it this year or past years, certainly basic understanding,
Basic
grip on the
understanding.
subject, proper understanding, authentic understanding.
Right, sir.
Because if you see, when as I was talking that ki the question related to amendment they are asking, they have used 3 terms which are very simple terms. Now all the 3 terms are correct, but a candidate when he sees that first time, so he is in dilemma na? Here we can analyze outside because we do not have risk of getting disqualified.
Right, sir.
Yes.
But a candidate, let's say, who may have, let's say, have failed attempt 2-3 times,
Right.
and he sees the paper.
Right.
So whether he is in a position to take risk, because
Right.
are you familiar with those 3 terms?
Right, sir. Right.
Definitely.
This, and certainly I have experience, sir, as we had our marathon session, and I know the marathon session, and when we took it and students we asked questions, so students were not prepared. Maybe they may have revised, they may have studied, but this is how the basics. The basics they read it, writs they read it, amendments they read it, even the parts they have asked. Very
Right, sir.
factual
Parts,
question.
very factual. Right.
Right.
Sir.
By like these types of questions were not asked in recent past.
Recent times, right.
So students will also try to ignore that kind of knowledge. But now they have asked. So it depends ki whether you have institutional memory. Institutional memory, that ki the way you have studied. They are asking 71st Amendment Act.
Right, sir.
This
Right.
of 71st Amendment Act, again, are you reading the past amendments? Yes.
Right.
Now, sir, I would like to ask you one question. What is your advice to students looking at this paper, and how we can help them as an institute?
So one more point remaining,
Please,
sir.
sir,
Current
please
affairs.
Yes,
is
current
very
affairs.
important.
Please
See, its weightage is more, and that's why we should always
So
analyze
how many
this.
questions you will link with current developments?
So purely current affairs, it is 10 to 12 questions. But I would would not say that we should limit to that, because the
Yes, there cannot be
context-based
a
questions.
clear line of demarcation.
Right, sir. Context-based questions, like in geography, Red Sea was continuously in news in last 1 year because of how the attacks and all these things. But they ask basic question from geography.
Yes.
Red Sea. The same is North Sea also. It was in news, so they asked the questions, mapping section. So that means we have to take context. Like ethics committee, as you said, sir, the question is from basics, but the context is from current affairs.
Even I will tell about Chief of Defence
Yes,
Staff.
sir. So it is always in news
It
for
was
such
in
kind
news
of
It
for
is
3-4
always in
years
news,
for now.
and they have not asked simpler one.
right
Yes,
difficult.
It's let's say demands ki in-depth understanding.
Its role,
The
responsibilities.
role of the Chief of Defence Staff.
Right. Right.
Especially the second statement on that.
Right.
Ki Chief of Defence Staff does not have a military control over other let's say ki chairperson or the head of the forces.
Head of the forces. Right.
So a candidate who has studied for mains examination,
Right. Sir.
or a candidate who has studied for let's say ki understanding based knowledge, so he knows that ki Chief of Defence Staff does not have military type of role and function.
Right.
Because it is more of procurement, it is more of strategy. So, and that knowledge also I have in mind this while reading that question.
Right. Sir.
This,
Definitely.
although we checked it by reading the document.
Right. Sir.
But let's say that ki it was more of let's ki in depth like ki, and you have to take a call on that.
Right, sir. And
This-
such in-depth, sir, knowledge comes from our ED lectures also, sir.
Yes.
Many topics that are covered in ED lectures.
Yes.
So,
Before we come to ED, let me ask that ki how you will relate to contemporary developments. One is that ki you have current developments.
Right, sir.
Which a candidate who starts even preparation in 1 year, last 1 year,
Right.
he covers that current.
Right, sir.
But then let's say that there are contemporary developments, like say ki chief of defense
Right,
staff,
sir. That
that
one,
you can take. So it takes time to cover those types of topics.
Right, sir. That's why I was saying for science and technology and environment section especially, the questions are from like last 2 year, 3 year also, because these developments may be in news that time or maybe in news now, but not in detail as such. But उस time पे बहुत
But
ज़्यादा
there is an
news में
element
है.
of continuity in those things.
Yes,
That's
element
why,
of
sir.
continuity is there, and that's why we should be covering those topics from the past also. So
But
contemporary.
mentioning their background.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So contemporary topics like polity में भी जरूर questions आता है. In geography and environment it is common. And but if you talk from science and technology, this year the technologies they are asking, they were not that much in news as such from mainstream newspapers.
Okay.
ठीक है, तो बहुत ही मतलब वो बोलते हैं कि घुस के पूछना जिसको बोलते हैं, कहीं ना कहीं दे आर आस्किंग सच काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी. सो इट्स फाइन.
So, do you think, sir, this will be something like area of difficulty for most of the candidates?
यस, दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज टेलिंग कि अगर एक स्टूडेंट को नहीं आ रहा है तो मैक्सिमम स्टूडेंट को नहीं आ रहा है. व्हाई? बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स आर रेफरिंग टू सेम न्यूज़पेपर एंड सेम स्टडी मटेरियल.
That's why we say that ki, see, if you prepare mains orientation, the prelims become subset of that.
राइट सर, राइट
This.
राइट सर.
So and unless a candidate prepares for mains examination, even let's say that ki prelims preparation will be very narrow.
राइट सर.
So he would not be able to attempt those types of questions.
And in sir, those 10 to 12 questions, the trend continues. Like last year or last to last year, 1 or 2 questions from places in news, that continues. 1 or 2 questions from environment initiatives of environment, है ना, international initiatives जो environment से होता है.
Regenerative agriculture.
हाँ.
They did not ask direct question, but एक ऐसा initiative जो World Economic Forum का है.
Right.
Students might have heard or not heard, so it
Right.
was very tricky for them.
I guess ki two
So-
questions also from programs they have asked.
Three
Three questions from
And
the-
they were mainstream government schemes.
Yes.
ओके, सो ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब कोई भी रैंडम जो मैक्सिमम स्टूडेंट्स.
So means in this way, let's say that if you analyze, so they continue the trends.
यस, दिस
In
आल्सो
that
इज कंटिन्यूड सर.
तो सर मैं आपसे एक सवाल पूछूं कि एक एवरेज स्टूडेंट जो ठीक से पढ़ाई कर रहा है,
हाँ जी.
लगभग कितने क्वेश्चंस ठीक कर सकता है और उसको चांसेस ऑफ सिलेक्शन बन जाते हैं, उसको कॉल आएगा मेरे.
लाइक आई सेड, द आइडियल अटेम्प्ट शुड hover between 80 to 90.
जी सर.
एंड उसमें अगर आप कट ऑफ क्लियर करना चाहते हैं, सेफ रहना चाहते हैं, तो उसमें से आपको 65 to 70 सही आने चाहिए.
जी.
मतलब बाकी जब निगेटिव जाता है तो आप सेफ रहो, 100 प्लस जिसको हम बोलते हैं.
जी सर, जी सर.
ठीक है, अब तो फिर आप मेंस की तैयारी बहुत अच्छे से स्टार्ट.
बिकॉज एट द लास्ट मिनट वन ऑफ आवर स्टूडेंट्स आस्क्ड मी कि सर मेरा लास्ट अटेम्प्ट है ये, तो मैं ज़्यादा रिस्क ले लूँ क्या? तो आई वार्न हिम, मैंने कहा पेपर कैसा भी हो, आप रिस्क हमेशा मॉडरेट रखो, क्योंकि मॉडरेट रिस्क वाले लोग ही अक्सर ज़्यादा सक्सेस पाते हैं.
Calculated risk,
जी सर.
emotional
जी सर.
intelligence.
तो कहना यह है कि जो क्वेश्चंस के बारे में आपको क्लू है ही नहीं, उनको अटेम्प्ट मत करो.
हाँ
बिल्कुल.
बिल्कुल.
उसके बाद जिनमें कुछ क्लू है वहाँ कुछ खेल सकते हो.
So let's say that ki cutoff, I guess ki my view on cutoff is between 80 to 90.
राइट सर.
That way,
Yes, sir.
let's say ki it can be between. If I be more specific, so it's 80, 85 around. Let's say you can say between that.
ओके.
But it is always open, and it is too early to tell on this.
नो सर, लास्ट ईयर लाइक वी हैड प्रीलिम्स की पंचायत, जब हमने वहाँ पे कट ऑफ की बात की थी तो वी वर सेइंग कि कट ऑफ 80 के अबव ही रहेगा या मतलब उतना ही रहेगा लास्ट ईयर. बट आई आर्ग्यूड एट दैट टाइम कि इन सच काइंड ऑफ ऑप्शंस फ्रेमिंग द कट ऑफ विल कम डाउन, एंड इट हैज कम डाउन.
It came down, right.
But even if the paper was difficult, but it came down to 75.
या
70.
75.
But when we are saying is simpler side, so I think it will go up.
Yes,
You can add
it will
10
go
more
up.
marks to it.
It will go up. Competition is very tough, and if such
And
information
that is
based
something,
questions
let's
are
say,
there.
once students would be relieved by giving this paper.
Right.
But then let's say that the second challenge will come is the uncertainty about cutoff.
Right, sir. Uncertainty is there.
Because paper level is not certainly comparable to the last year.
Right.
So the last year cutoff does not help.
Right, sir.
Right.
Right, sir.
So the cloud of uncertainty.
But that element of happiness is also there, sir.
Like
So,
in 2022, cutoff was around 88. I would say that it will be in that
It
range.
will be
only.
nearby 88, 90.
so
in my
we can say an average student who have prepared sincerely and have this feeling, positive feeling that he has done well, should now not take much break, take a day or two
Yes.
break and go
Go
for
for preparing
preparation.
mains.
I would say those
definitely.
Yes.
those who are getting marks more than 90 or 95 from 2-3, let's say, answer keys, including Lukmaan IAS answer key, which is published. So you can verify that, and if you are above 90 or 95, you are be sure about your mains preparation and immediately start preparation. And sir, what are your views on mains preparation that students
Means
start?
I will talk a bit later. What I
Okay.
will tell is that the students, they will be facing uncertainty, and those prepare means those who have appeared, and they should not wait for cutoff and other things.
Right, sir. Right.
Certainly, always the right approach is that one should not wait for the results, as
Right.
UPSC is always uncertain.
Right, sir. Right.
So in let's say if you wait for the results, so you are wasting your time.
Sure, sir.
So certainly irrespective of cutoff, I will say,
Yes, sir.
if those who have attempts, even those who have even last attempt also, no? So you
Yes,
don't have
you have
option
option
but
also.
to study.
Right, sir.
Already 15 days are less in this mains examination.
Yes, sir. 20 days almost.
20 days are less in this mains examination. So you don't have a single day to waste.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Yes. So certainly you can chill a bit, isn't it?
Okay, sir. For a day or two, it's fine.
At least a day or two.
So you can chill a bit, let's say 1 or 2 days to relieve yourself, relax yourself. But irrespective of whatever, the number of questions you have attempted, if you are having 75 plus, this is what we can say last year, so you should be positive,
Right,
and you should focus on mains examination.
Right, sir.
You now start thinking about your mains level of preparation.
Right.
What you should first start, and how you should start. The paper that means you may not have prepared, so you should start studying that. And
Right.
this is how we say the strategy that by the time prelims result is announced, the candidates should prepare one paper,
Right, sir.
and the paper is nothing but ethics.
And sir, we are also coming up with mains guidance program to help the candidates out. Please throw some light on that also, sir.
Yes, we have the program. Let's say this year we have one designed, program. Basically, we stopped those programs due to COVID crisis. So this year we have started new mains guidance program, which is GS enrichment, ethics enrichment that we continue, and already case studies that we continue. Again, we have started public administration optional enrichment program. So these are the 3 programs which we have started this year for mains examination. And it is quite guidance program which details are given. You can take from website, even in descriptions also they are mentioned, and even you can consult office, let's say. So apart from these 3 programs, test series can be considered regular mains programs. This is what we can say.
Right.
So these are the programs that we have prepared.
Okay, sir. So if somebody has something to add,
Yes.
please do so. Otherwise, we will like to wind up the program.
So, about the new MGP program only,
please.
I would like to give a few details because this program is designed in such manner that the students will be engaged in the answer writing in the classroom itself. And this is very unique program. Why? Because in every session, before starting the session, there will be 5 questions that students are supposed to write in the classroom, and the faculty in the same session they will evaluate them, and they will give the model tips regarding that or model answer regarding that particular questions. Along with that, several relevant topics will be discussed in the same session.
Okay, sir.
And we have included the current affairs sessions for each and every subject also.
Is it like last minute value addition?
Yes, sir. It is going to be very important in improving the marks. Like many students, they do not have like how to improve the marks like compared to last year, पिछले मेंस से कैसे marks, कोई एक particular subject में उनका weak होता है. So through answer writing practice and value enrichment by the faculties in the classroom, this is going to be important program for students.
I am sure, sir, this is going to help the students.
Yes, I will also add a few things that we will have detailed discussion of prelims paper
Right.
in just 2-3 days,
Right,
and we will discuss each question
wise.
and
Sure, sir.
those discussions will be more helpful for the candidates who are going to appear, especially next year.
Next
Because
year.
this year candidates, they are more concerned about cutoff,
हाँ.
and since they have appeared, so they want to simply know that how many questions are correct.
Right.
So answer key is
They
published.
don't want to know how it is correct. They want to know
Just
only
they
that
want to
how
know the
many
We are
answer.
giving
questions.
explanation
That's
also, sir, so they will get to know how it is correct.
Yes, but that's not the point for them. For them, is the point is that they have to know how many questions are
Okay,
correct, so that they can look ahead. They can just focus on mains preparation.
Right, sir.
Yeah.
Concern will be for those candidates who have not appeared.
हाँ. Right.
This that seeing the paper. So now, what strategy they should have? So you can see the paper, and by seeing the paper, you should know that UPSC trends keep changing.
Right, sir.
This, like last year, it was, we can say that the paper level can be of this level.
Okay, sir.
This year paper level is this level.
Yes, sir.
Right. The past year paper level can also be this level. So then the question is that next year what will happen?
So there could be fluctuations always.
There could be.
Right.
So next year what they are going to do? So that's why let's say that you have to learn, and you should always make last, let's say that 10 years, last 5-6 years as base for your preparation.
Right.
This, rather than just let's say that focusing on 1 year or 2 years.
Yes, sir.
This, and you should learn from this. UPSC is UPSC. It can make anything, you know. So it can make anything, let's, in the sense that it can focus on some areas, it can ignore some other areas.
Right.
This, and as far as test questions are concerned, mock tests are concerned, so certainly we do not say that you should give so many mock tests, or you should not give mock tests at all.
Right.
Yes. And that is how, let's say, you should learn, and this is what, let's say, the flexibility in UPSC.
Yes, sir.
This, and final, my take is that I will tell the final, first impression was that students will be relieved. Final impression is, अगर इस बार prelims नहीं हुआ तो कभी नहीं होगा.
ये भी फीलिंग आ सकती है. जी सर, जी सर.
नहीं सर, फर्स्ट टाइमर्स के लिए ये फीलिंग नहीं आना चाहिए. राइट.
फर्स्ट टाइमर्स के लिए नहीं होगा. बट अगर इस बार प्रीलिम्स नहीं होता है, खासकर उनका जो 2-3 अटेम्प्ट दे चुके हैं,
हाँ.
तो फिर
Right.
वो प्रीलिम्स मुझे नहीं लगता कि प्रीलिम्स
इट
होने
इज
वाला है.
डिफिकल्ट. राइट.
बिकॉज ऐसा पेपर नहीं आएगा.
हाँ. लाइक 2016 में आया था पूरा करंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन.
Maybe every
Right.
4-5 years, UPSC is giving some
16
kind of
was like
relaxation
that.
to some senior students.
Yes, so that is what we have to understand. That's why UPSC has, it is quite inclusive institution. It has space for everyone.
Yes, sir.
So, और इस बार नहीं तो कभी नहीं.
कभी नहीं.
Last year was, so I felt like it was havoc because many people who are in the service could not qualify prelims.
राइट सर. राइट.
Yes, last year was the toughest, I guess, so far.
So cutoff will be given, I guess, in the answer is
Answer key
given.
is-
Answer key is given
Answer
in
key
the
is published
description.
on
Other details are also given in description, especially mains program that we have. You can say, plus let's say other aspects also, other programs also. Hope that our analysis may help you getting an insight. This is not a very serious type, you can say, a very formal, you can say, analysis. Rather, it is just a conversation that what we think, so that you can get some clues about this year paper. At the same time, those candidates who have not appeared, so they can also understand that how they should approach from today onwards, so that they next year when we will have prelims ka panchayat, so that time they will have the positive, let's say, that thinking, they will be confident that yes, they are getting through.
Some of them might be having that deja vu feeling, right, sir? That something positive was said and they benefited from it.
Yes.
So one more thing, sir.
Yes,
One
sir,
more thing
please.
regarding such kind of papers like UPSC is framing. can we say that, sir, students are now required to be in practice of solving MCQs throughout the year?
This is what we say, and that is how the
Takkar program that we have.
The approach is that basically we used to prepare in our time.
Right.
Even let's say that till you can say 4 or 5 years back, you can consider. 4 or 5 years back, we used to tell also that you start preparation of prelims from December or January.
Right.
So 4 months preparation. But let's say that the way question papers are asked, especially both let's say GS1 and CSAT paper you can find. So the question is that can a candidate prepare from January to April? This,
Right, sir.
and what if some sections he was not able to cover?
Right, sir.
At the same time, given the depth of the question, you will find that given the variety of the questions,
yes,
that
sir.
is which a range of the question, depth of the question, so they ask all varieties of questions,
Right, sir. Right, sir.
which demand that yes, you should have really let's say that very solid preparation, not a very surface level of preparation.
Right.
This and that demands that you should train yourself. You should train your mind. You should develop a bent of mind. Let's say from the beginning means this June, July itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This, and you should train your mind by practicing some of the prelims questions.
Right, sir.
Not daily basis, but at least once in a month also you can consider.
Right, sir.
So that you are trained to that. Even if students do nowadays lots of practice.
Yes, sir.
Now in our time hardly we had any mock test or any test for prelims.
Right, sir.
But nowadays students are writing I guess hundreds of mock tests. So it's let's say difficult to count.
Also, sir.
So when they have let's say 50 mock tests plus the test that they are getting, still suppose you are not able to get through this prelims, not let's say that bringing correct questions to the level of 80 and 90.
Right, sir.
So then it shows that you have not prepared yourself properly.
Right, sir.
Yes. And when students will start preparing for June and July, basically the first level of let's say that test they have gone. So by the time December comes and January, they know their strengths and weaknesses.
Right, right, sir.
And that is how let's say January to April they can work on that. They get the chance.
Right, sir.
But suppose you start in January
Right, sir.
and you come to know about strengths and weaknesses in March and April.
Then you are not left with much time to.
Right. How will you make
Right.
the...
So do you have time left?
Right, sir.
So that is how it should not be left to January. Rather they should start from June and July itself.
That way, sir, I would say Takkar is an exercise we are doing around the year test series, helping the student to remain disciplined throughout the year, committed throughout the year, and reading the right sources, and at the same time practicing
Yes.
at the prelims as well as the mains level, and therefore preparing himself or herself holistically. This is what we can say.
Holistically, right.
And that should be the strategy nowadays because the competition is tough and it requires certain amount of sincerity. It should be maintained. So give Takkar and take Takkar. This is what I would say to them.
Yes. Give Takkar and take
Take
Takkar. Right. Get Takkar.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Takkar, Takkar, Takkar. So this, and here starts your two roadmaps. One, those who are getting 70 plus by let's say most of the keys in the market this year will be authentic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This because paper is not that tough, and we can claim that last year our authenticity was 99%.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This so this year also our answer key will be authentic, although we cannot match UPSC. This is what we say. So largely answer keys will be authentic, and by that way you will know that if you are not getting 70 plus, so your roadmap should be altogether different.
Yes, sir.
But all those who are getting 70 plus, their roadmap should be towards mains examination.
Right, sir.
And those who are having 70 less, they should not worry, they should not feel frustrated, they should not go in depression. If
sir, that's very
attempts are
important.
left,
Right, sir.
so your roadmap should start from let's say that after 1-2 days, when you overcome your this tension and shock.
Right.
So then you can focus on next year, and for that also you don't have time left.
Right.
This
So it's a great piece of advice, sir. So
We'll
shall
continue CSAT also, sir, hereafter.
so
with a short
then
break.
there will be a session. Let's say the Panchayat will continue with a new team for CSAT paper analysis.
Right, sir.
So be tuned to Lukmaan IAS for CSAT analysis.
Okay, sir. It was really a great exercise. I would like to thank all my colleagues who participated in this discussion over GS paper 1. Now we would like to continue to discuss the next paper, that is, you call it CSET, but I call it general CSET GS paper 2. And I would like to invite our faculty members to join us, the CSET faculty.
Abhijit, sir.
Abhijit sir, I would request you to add the names and
Yes.
mention the profiles of the concerned persons.
So we are going to have the two faculty members, Abhijit sir and Vaibhav sir, for CSAT discussion. We give us a moment, but till that point we can talk about the CSAT paper also, sir.
Sir,
And-
so CSET, have you gone through the papers? Or did you?
I haven't gone through detail,
Okay, sir.
but let me
So
tell
at
you
its face value, what do you feel?
at face value, the same aspect that UPSC continues make it challenging.
So is it as difficult as last year or more?
In terms of difficulty level, the respective members will be giving in detail.
I mean to say, what is the feeling?
The feeling is same.
Especially as an aspirant, what do you feel?
As an aspirant, always worried about the CSAT paper if you are, weak in CSAT subject as a subject. And most of the students, they are on the boundary. जैसे हम कट ऑफ देखते हैं,
Yes, sir.
तो उनका कभी 68 आता है, 70 आता है, 66 आता है maximum students का, and they are worried about whether I will qualify or not. So here comes the major, I would say, factor in qualifying this prelims examination.
So I have this curiosity to ask, why UPSC is making this paper so tough?
Sir, one thing I know about this is that making GS paper tough, it has some limitations, sir. It cannot ask something irrational in GS paper. And
But
there is,
don't you feel, sir, it benefits the people who might be having good command over a language like English,
sure, sir, sure,
or
sir.
who are having a background in which they are very good at data interpretation and numerical ability?
I can understand, sir. Those who are good at mathematics or reading comprehension, so they benefit from this. But again, the qualifying marks are 66.5, and I feel that UPSC does not do any kind of injustice to that.
Okay, sir.
Why? Let me explain
Agreed,
that. We have to identify the attemptable questions out of those 80 questions, sir.
Okay, sir.
And if you identify those questions, they are attemptable for a general, prepared candidate also. The problem lies in this, sir.
Who can take the right call at the right
call.
time?
Right, sir. And now, if you invest more time in such questions which are not attemptable, then that becomes the problem. That's why it is aptitude test, sir.
So
Yes.
I would like to welcome Abhijit sir and Vaibhav sir to join us and join us in the discussion on the GS paper 2, or what we call CSET paper. So Abhijit sir, my first question will be to you. What do you feel after having a look at the paper?
The paper was good, sir. Printing quality was very good.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Can you please elaborate? Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. See, sir, on the face of it, the paper was good. It would seem that it was reasonably easier from the last time. But as you delve deeper in any of the sections, then you will realize that the complexity level from medium to hard question has increased. Yet on the face of it, it was easier than last year.
So when I say particularly, sir, that was it comprehension or the overall paper was very tough?
Sir, some of the passage, like travel passage in the comprehension, was really tough. It is like some Joseph Conrad type of person came and wrote the passage.
So what kind of people will be able to feel happy to solve such a question, such a passage?
Oh, sir, the compulsions of exams forces anyone to solve it. So everyone has to solve it.
Okay.
There is nothing like, you do have a choice. But yes, those people who have attempted a lot of questions, particularly even from the English passage, because you are never sure that, what would be right, what would be wrong. So the people who are attempting most of the questions do have a tenacity for the clearing the examination, sir.
So could you make some guesses what kind of sources UPSC would have referred to frame such paragraphs or passages?
Okay, so they were social issues questions. See, complexity in these passages were really tough, sir.
Okay, sir.
And it was more bent towards the literal skills. Okay. And for maths and logical reasoning, Vaibhav sir is
Sir,
will be
so
answering
now I
your
would like to come to Vaibhav sir. Sir, what is your take on the data and number kind of questions? How were they?
Sir, compared to last year's question paper, the questions were easy, they were not dicey, option framing was straightforward. Though if you are familiar with all the basic concepts, most of the students would have been able to solve the...
So you are saying that if an average student who has really practiced well had a good chance to do well in this paper?
Yes,
or
sir.
the section?
It's not only about practice, it's all about your confidence level also. The complexity of the question paper does not depend on the weightage of each section also. The weightage has remained the same. Almost 27 questions have appeared consistently from the reasoning reading comprehension part.
The pattern remains more or less the same.
30 to 35 questions from the quant section part and almost 20 questions from reasoning part. That weightage has remained the same this year also.
So if I ask you, over the last 4-5 years,
Right, sir.
There is no change in pattern, would you
No,
agree?
no change in the pattern, but yes, the questions were pretty much easier and doable than compared to the 23 GS paper 2.
So if
Prelims.
I ask both of you, what is the what should be our expectation that students who were not that sure last time would be able to make it this time if their preparation is good?
Sir, though I would still say that this year's cutoff will also depend on your CSET question paper also.
Okay.
There are students who are not very well versed with the mathematics, who are not so friendly with mathematics part and reasoning part. There are people who are not very comfortable with reading comprehension part. So overall your GS cutoff score will depend on your CSET question paper also this time.
Sir, if I ask you, is there any variation in terms of sections or areas, or is it the same as last year or last few years?
For CSET paper?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sir, weightage has remained the same. More or less it has remained the
And
same.
I mean to say the headings of the section, like it is like time.
Yes,
kind of
yes, yes.
question,
Very much on the similar line.
Similar
Yes,
line.
very much on the similar line.
What specific observations you would like to make on this?
Sir, specific
Some points
observations.
we want from you.
Yes,
I
few
mean to say in
questions.
terms of weightage and all those things, if you
Yes,
can
yes,
help
yes,
us
sir.
out,
I have already
that would be
seen-
really good, sir.
Sir, weightage has remained the same as we have discussed.
Section
earlier.
wise, sir, you can
Yes.
throw some light.
Sir, broadly sections have remained the same. Time, motion and number system. All these sections have remained the same. And yes, the most important point that students from the reading comprehension part would observe is that most of the passages are of the similar nature of GS type. Like whatever that you are going to read for your GS preparation, you will find similar passages in reading comprehension part also,
Yes.
which makes it more dicier.
Dicey.
Because when you approach the questions, you tend to apply your GS knowledge in the comprehension
But
part
I have
also.
observed one thing, sir. In these questions, when you read them, you don't, okay, you will feel that it has some level of difficulty, but at the same time, you have this element of confidence that I can do something with these questions, I can answer them. So, is it good or is it bad?
So it is good that you get that confidence after reading the passage, but
Okay.
your confidence just vanishes off when you go approach the options framing.
So, what to do about that? There
Just choose the most
your
appropriate
expertise comes.
Just
in.
choose the most appropriate one, the one which encompasses all the elements of the passage. And it also depends on the command of the question, the assumptions, the implications, or the corollary
I
of the
think
passage.
Lakshmi sir wants to add something. Sir,
I
please.
would like to ask this thing only, that whether they have changed the framing of questions, the command of the questions this time compared to last year or previous years. Any new element?
More or less it has remained the same. Sir.
Okay, okay. Fine, sir. About sir, reading comprehension, further I would like to ask Abhijit sir that students find it difficult to attempt philosophical type of passages, and the comprehension aspect is very challenging for many students. It is time consuming also. It is challenge, we can say that, and now they are asking questions like statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. They are asking these assumptions, then how many of the assumptions are correct? But again, the question is also time consuming.
Right.
Like if you go back 5-6 years, then they used to ask plain questions, one liner, which of the following assumption is correct, 4 statements and like. So it is time consuming. So what's your take on this? Like how students should be dealing with this kind of things?
Sir, if anything, ears in your, if voices are coming in your ear, then you will be able to do it. The best way to approach the reading comprehension is the moment you read it, you will be able to do it because you are so much reading about it. Say for example, if you are reading New York Times or something like that, then it becomes really easier to solve the questions because they do have the complex and logical flows. They focus on everything from the complexity to logical flow to how the narrative is building. So the more you are reading it, in fact in the Hindu newspaper in itself is quite enough.
Right.
Okay, sir. But you have to read the newspaper.
Right.
Okay, in that
Most
case,
of the students are not reading the Hindu newspaper because of this reason, sir. They are shifted to Indian Express because of language.
Yes.
So how it is going to be difficult for them?
So the basic mantra is that you have to maintain continuity of reading the most important resource in terms of current affairs, that is the Hindu.
Yeah.
And then other
Even for
you
reading
have
comprehension.
to focus on the stories because of late all of us have forgot to hear and tell the stories.
Yes, sir.
And we are just focusing on the facts. If we will not hear or tell the stories, then it will be hard to remember the fact.
Now people are relying more on these apps like InShorts, where they just in 60 words want to read the news.
Yes, sir. Even I have asked my students, those who have interacted with me in the past couple of months and last 1 year, it is not only important to read the newspaper throughout the week for your GS preparation, rather you should also read the newspaper on Sundays, the open page, the stories, the other things that comes on the Sunday newspaper.
Magazine supplement.
Sunday magazine, yes. That supplement is going to supplement
You
your...
should be a very devoted
Yes.
kind of candidate.
Yes, that Sunday supplement is actually going to supplement your CSET preparation
Right.
in one way.
Yes, I have found like
Yes.
because G Sampath article
Yes.
very,
So we
very
can say,
fun.
sir, that it contains those literary pieces which
Yes.
enhances your comprehension skills.
And reading newspapers shall not be the task for any aspirant. Rather, it should be a part of your life for every individual, even if he or she is not aspiring for civil services.
Right.
Build your reading habits.
Yes.
That is going to help you. That is going to enrich your understanding about the society also in various ways.
Now coming to about the commands of the question, like I was saying that assumptions and like inferences, implications, implied. So basically students find, I feel that most of them are similar.
Right.
Right. So what is your take on this? How students should understand कि ये assumption है, ये inference है, इसका मतलब meaning?
I would ask my students that you answer the same questions for the same passage, considering that both the questions are asking the assumptions. If there is one question about the assumptions from the passage and the second question is about the implications or inferences from the passage, you yourself will get to know the answers.
Right.
Nobody is going to ask you two similar assumptions in two similar questions from the same passage.
Right. So
So it is not only about your English understanding, rather we know that it is a reading comprehension part. अगर आपको कहीं पे थोड़ी सी भी समस्या है, समझने में दिक्कत आती है, तो आप हिंदी में वो सवाल पढ़ के देखें, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा.
good.
That is a good solution, sir. मैं एक बात और पूछना चाहूँगा
जी.
सर, डिसीजन मेकिंग पे कुछ क्वेश्चंस आए हैं, कैसे आए हैं?
सर रीजनिंग पार्ट में हमेशा से हर बार से डिसीजन मेकिंग पे क्वेश्चंस आते रहे हैं.
जी सर.
इस बार भी आए हैं, लेकिन वो उतने मुश्किल नहीं है जितने पिछली बार थे. उनका फ्रेमिंग आसान है.
Okay, sir. So can it help a serious candidate to add some marks and be very sure about getting that magical
Number of 66.
Yes, sir.
सर जाहिर सी बात यह है कि हर स्टूडेंट की अपनी काबिलियत होती है, उसकी अपनी कमियां भी होती हैं. किसी सब्जेक्ट में वो वीक होता है, किसी सब्जेक्ट में स्ट्रांग होता है. इसी वजह से मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि जब वेटेज ऑफ दी पोर्शंस इन दी सीसेट क्वेश्चन पेपर has been the same over past couple of years. आपको प्रिपरेशन भी उसी स्ट्रेटेजी के साथ करनी चाहिए.
ऐसा होना चाहिए कि आप कहाँ अच्छा कर सकते.
Yes, if you are strong in certain sections of quant part, practice it more. It is going to help.
If I
you.
ask you, which are the areas where any candidate can do something good?
So we are not supposed to generalize this statement. Every candidate has to see his own weaknesses and comparatively, I think.
Last year there was 10 people who were told to attempt the English comprehension paper because it was relatively on the easier side. And last year those people who maths paper.
Yes,
Last year those people who attempted maths literally from the examination because it took a lot of time. So see, basically it depends that on what day you have to be decisive in that moment that we are supposed to approach this section first. You have to have basically a helicopter view of the paper, and only then the paper should be
Right, sir. See, this year in reading comprehension part, we have had 18 passages and 27 questions.
Yes.
Last year it was 25 passages and 27 questions.
Right.
So here comes the necessity of reading the newspaper, fast reading and fast comprehension. जल्दी पढ़ो, बेहतर समझो, एब्जॉर्ब करो. उससे पिछले साल हम देखेंगे ईयर 22 में जब हम देखेंगे तो 15 पैसेज थे, 27 क्वेश्चन थे. तो नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस इन द रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन पार्ट हैज रिमेन्ड द सेम, बट नंबर ऑफ पैसेजेस हैज consistently changed. Last year it was 25 passages. This time there are only, I guess, 18.
This is something noticeable.
Yes, 18 passages.
And now
again.
I would like to come back to Avijit sir, and I agree with you sir कि आजकल क्या हो गया है कि people are in a hurry, और वो hasty nature जो है हमारा part बनता जा रहा है life का. People want to do things fast, but this exam demands patience. So whether it is mains examination, whether it is prelims examination, as sir rightly said, एक overview होना चाहिए आपको पेपर का पूरा, उसको समझ लो अच्छे से, फिर तय करो कि आपको क्या अटेम्प्ट करना है, कहाँ कंफर्टेबल हो, कहाँ
अटेम्प्ट की अगर सर बात कर रहे हैं तो आप बताइए सर, और आप भी बताइए कि अटेम्प्ट आइडियल क्या होना चाहिए था क्लियर करने के लिए कट ऑफ इस साल
CSET के पेपर में.
Right.
Sir, if you have attempted 55 to 60 questions and you have this habit of 80% accuracy rate,
Okay.
then perhaps you would be at a very comfortable position.
And in terms of 3 sections, which particular section was more difficult?
Quant, I would say most of the students aspiring for civil services do not have a mathematics background,
Okay.
and they need to practice it more.
I would disagree to this.
Though we have seen most of the engineers qualifying the examination, but we yes, see, we have seen most of the aspirants who qualify the examination and find their names in the final list belong to the engineering background or mathematics background, but most of the aspirants do not belong to the mathematics background. That is the fact. So if you are not from the mathematics background, you should be good at reading. You should be good at reasoning part.
Okay, so can we say that this year the CSAT was not as tough as last year?
Right.
This is the final observation.
Right.
Yes.
Regarding CSAT, sir, we all agree with this.
Right.
So there are 2 factors in it. One, it was not as tough as last year. Second, after the shock, many people dedicatedly
Started practicing mathematics more.
Practicing mathematics.
That is good thing. Okay.
So I think along with the GS paper, the nature and the very difficulty level of CSET paper will push the cutoff to a significant extent.
Right.
On that one.
Yes. See, the cutoff for the GS paper that we usually say the cutoff won't take a greater leap this time. It will still depend on your CSET marks.
Yes, of course, every year that depends on CSAT, but last year it was the determining factor only.
Yes,
Right.
Since we have seen the
if I
GS,
say it was some kind of slaughter, sir, it would not be wrong.
So CSAT was determining factor last year, but this year many students will qualify.
Yes.
And thereafter the GS
we
will
can
be decided.
we can expect a slight increase in the cutoff marks this year.
Yes. Actually, we earlier discussed
Yes.
about the cutoff for GS paper also. Few points that you would like to tell the students or aspirants who are going to appear next year in 2025, how they should start preparing for the CSAT paper now itself.
Start reading the newspapers
And further,
and just be confident. And what is the basic thing is that you, sir, have rightly said that we are in a haste.
Yes.
Whatever you are reading, give some time to it so that you can that passage makes sense to you. Don't read it superficially. Second thing is, if you are approaching the mathematics and the reasoning part, don't just try to solve the questions, try to learn the tricks, try to learn the formulas, they are going to help you. And there are still many questions which do not need any equations or the...
Yes, of course, UPSC will not ask any difficult equations or something.
Which do not require any
They
formulas.
are just testing your logical reasoning. How do you think?
Yes.
They are just testing your elimination approach. If you are confident enough in solving 50 questions out of 80, you will be through.
One more point that I would like to add in this preparation of CSAT paper, that we should not be thinking I will practice in last 2-3 months and I will get through this CSAT paper. I feel that, like earlier we talked about practicing prelims from now itself. The same is applied to CSAT. You should dedicate certain time in a week for CSAT paper.
Many of our students are devoting 30 minutes to 1 hour almost
daily
5 days a week or even daily basis.
Yes. This is important because when you are in practice, your aptitude or the CSAT aspect or aptitude aspect always remains like polished. बोलते हैं ना कि मशीन जो है हमेशा वर्किंग में होनी चाहिए, तो मैथ सॉल्व करने के लिए हमारा ब्रेन जो है वो हमेशा
उतना एप्टीट्यूड होना चाहिए सर।
वो
साल भर तैयारी करेंगे, साल भर प्रैक्टिस करेंगे।
छोड़ के ठेले पे से सब्जी खरीदो ना, तो प्रॉफिट लॉस उसमें भी समझ में आता है।
तो सेम थिंग दैट यू शुड बी इन प्रैक्टिस।
अब सर सब्जी भी तो खरीदना छोड़ दिया है लोगों ने।
वही ना, स्विगी टोमेटो से डिपेंडेंसी आ रही है।
हाँ, वो कैलकुलेशन नहीं करते, ऑर्डर कर दिया आ गया,
करेक्ट,
चेक भी नहीं करते लोग।
तो you should be in practice for CSAT and especially those from humanities background और 11th-12th में जिनका mathematics नहीं था, जिनको थोड़ा सा डर लगता है mathematics से, तो they should be doing the practice from now itself and they should build confidence actually. मुझे लगता है कि हमेशा सर CSAT पेपर जो है कहीं ना कहीं कॉन्फिडेंस वाला पेपर है सर, है ना। आप जब प्रैक्टिस करते हो और आपको एक लेवल का कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाता है।
सर एक और एबिलिटी टेस्ट हो रही है ना कि डू यू रिमेन कॉन्फिडेंट व्हेन देयर इज सम काइंड ऑफ टफ
ट्रिकी क्वेश्चंस, यस,
that is like emotional what you can say intelligence, emotional aptitudes, इसको हम बोलते हैं।
राइट सर।
So you are not taken over when this paper you see it is some I am not able to understand.
राइट, वही जैसे हम लोग कहते हैं कि पहले एक चलता था कि practice makes a man perfect. Now in present times it would be more apt to say that practice makes a person perfect.
So you have to go back to basics.
जैसे हम पूरे साल अपने जीएस के अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट्स की तैयारी करते हैं, प्रैक्टिस करते हैं, मॉक टेस्ट लगाते हैं, रिवाइज करते हैं, कोई भी चीज़, कोई भी सब्जेक्ट, तभी आप उसमें कंसिस्टेंटली परफॉर्म कर पाओगे जब आप रेगुलरली अपडेट हो, खुद को पॉलिश करो, प्रैक्टिस करो, वही एक तरीका है।
Right.
So at the end of the day it is the competition.
Yes.
So जो प्रैक्टिस में कुछ बीट कर पाएगा दूसरों को, उसको एज मिलेगा।
राइट, एंड प्रैक्टिस द राइट थिंग्स।
एंड सर अपना जो टक्कर का प्रोग्राम है ईयर लॉन्ग, उसमें भी सीसैट के अल्टरनेट वीक में प्रैक्टिस टेस्ट।
वी आर ऑलवेज देयर फॉर स्टूडेंट्स एंड वी आर डिवोटिंग आवरसेल्व्स लाइक एनीथिंग।
यस, एंड आवर स्टूडेंट्स दे आर एक्चुअली बेनिफिटिंग फ्रॉम दिस प्रैक्टिस ऑफ सीसैट पेपर्स।
सर द ब्यूटी ऑफ दैट टक्कर टेस्ट सीरीज इज वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग प्रीलिम्स की गाइडेंस, मेंस की गाइडेंस, सीसेट के भी टेस्ट लेते हैं, करंट अफेयर्स के अलग से टेस्ट होते हैं, एसए होता है, एथिक्स होता है, सब कुछ है एक ही टेस्ट सीरीज में कंबाइंड है वहाँ पे। सो इवन स्टूडेंट्स को भी अपना ऑल राउंड होलिस्टिक गॉज करने का एक मौका मिलता है वहाँ पे, कि मेरे हर सब्जेक्ट कैसे प्रिपेयर कौन से लेवल पे हैं, कहाँ पे मेरे को ज़्यादा मेहनत करने की ज़रूरत है। एंड आई बिलीव दैट स्टूडेंट्स विल टेक बेनिफिट ऑफ सच अप्रोच from our side.
I'm sure sir we will be able to repeat this our results again. Prelims में हमारे students अच्छा करेंगे,
बिल्कुल,
और फिर हम मेंस में भी उनको पढ़ाएंगे और फाइनल लिस्ट में भी देखेंगे।
बिल्कुल,
right sir. So with this I would like to wind up this session. I would like to thank you all my guests and all the students who have patiently listened to us. If you have any queries, you want to be helped by us, you want some kind of mentoring session, please do reach out to us.
Yes.
Contact our reception. Thank you so much.